Welcome to Eye on Gainesville. I'm Katil Feltz. The Gainesville City Council recently approved changes to the solid waste ordinance as it relates to recycling and garbage service collection here in the city of Gainesville. Changes to the city's recycling and garbage service will become effective January 1st, 2011. That's 1111, so it really should be easier to remember. Now, joining me to talk about all these changes is David Dockery, our Public Works Director. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Katil.
There's going to be a lot going on in the next few months, David, as we try to explain all these changes to the community. So we thought to take as much time as we possibly could, and then hopefully by 1111, everyone will know exactly what they need to do.
Absolutely. We're hoping we can make that happen.
Let's talk about garbage first. Okay. The City Council, I guess, gave you and your staff the direction several months ago to come up with a better way to provide garbage service to the community. Kind of give us a little background on how all that got started.
Okay, well, about a year and a half ago, the City Council gave a charge to the Public Works Department to explore ways of making the solid waste division self-supportive. Until now, several $100,000 needed to be transferred from the general fund into the solid waste fund in order to make that fund sufficient. And we've explored ways of doing that. We've run pilot projects. We've worked with other cities and localities and explored what they did, and we've come up with what we believe will be a good solution for the city of Gainesville.
Let's talk about, you talk about the different things you tried. You did hold public meetings as well, and the public came out loud and clear.
Yes, they did.
And what did they say?
Well, we heard from the public meetings that the citizens of Gainesville liked their twice a week at the house garbage service, and we have worked to try to come up with a solution where we can continue that service but do it in a cost-effective manner that will make the solid waste fund efficient and sustainable.
You talk about making this program sustainable or pay for itself. It was my understanding that another one of the reasons to look closer at the service that we were providing was so that we could make it safer for our solid waste employees. Tell us about those efforts and what you think this new plan will accomplish.
Yeah, that's true, Katil. The nature of the solid waste business, the way we do it in the city of Gainesville, is that it's a very physically demanding job, and we needed to implement some provisions as we looked at this new ordinance to eliminate some of those possibilities for injury and the resulting workman's comp claims that we face. And we hope that we've addressed some of these with this new ordinance.
I want to be just really specific for just a few moments. And I know that some of the people that came out to the public meetings, they heard some of this while they were there, but there are, 34,580 other people that did not come to those meetings who didn't hear this. And when we talk about what our solid waste employees face, I want to be very specific about what some of those threats are. These are people who, they come to our house, they come to my house, I live in the city, they come in the heat and the cold and the rain and the nastiest weather that I'm always trying to get out of, and they're picking up my garbage, and they always pick it up on the day that they say they're going to pick it up on, and it's always gone by the time I get home, and I just expect that to happen. It's my understanding that we have garbage bags that have needles in them. We have garbage bags that, I think one of the stories I heard recently was some type of broken glass, a car windshield, yes, or something like that did actually hurt one of our employees. And the list just goes on and on, but I don't think any of us would want to pick up a garbage bag and throw it over our back and get stuck by a needle. And every single day they go out there, there's only so much covering up you can do, but they face those kinds of real dangers every day.
That's right. You mentioned being stuck with a hypodermic needle. That is a very scary proposition, and it's something that we'd like for our customers to keep in mind when they're disposing of those type things. Put them in a container where they don't come through the bag, and keep the solid waste employees in mind when you're disposing of things that could be potentially dangerous.
I think so, and think about whether or not you would want to pick up that garbage bag. Maybe it's so heavy you can barely pick it up. Why do you want to make it, make it lighter if you can? And we're going to talk more about the amount of garbage in just a few moments, but it doesn't matter that that's the job they've chosen. I've heard that in the community too. That that does not matter. That is the job, and thank goodness that they've chosen that job. And then we have someone that will pick up our garbage. But I think we just really need to be mindful of how fortunate we are, and to think before we throw away, basically.
Right, and it's our job as city management and city supervisors to make their job as safe as possible and limit that exposure that those guys have as they're doing their job. Let's
talk about some of the changes briefly, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it so easy for you today because we have so many changes. I also want to say that we are here today up on the hill, actually partly in the cemetery, I guess.
We are.
As we're looking out over our Alta Vista complex, and this is where this is the heart of solid waste, isn't it?
This is the heart of public works for the most part.
It really is. Tell us, David, tell us about some of the shops that are here behind us.
Well, we have essentially 4 different operations that go on here at the Alta Vista facility. We have solid waste, as we've been talking about. We have our street department. They're in charge of roads, stormwater infrastructure, sidewalks,
and leaf and limb pickup is what we know them best for right now.
That has begun October the 1st, that's right. We also have our fleet maintenance division here that takes care of most of the city's vehicles and equipment. And then we also have our sign shop here that makes traffic signs that are used throughout Gainesville.
Okay, so there's a lot going on behind us. We're here at the end of the day, so it's quiet now, and everyone's done their work. They've collected all the garbage. You'll see the garbage trucks over here behind us. So, and I know all those trucks have a special name, and no, I don't know, but Danny Owen is coming on later in the show, and I bet he can tell me the name of every one of those trucks out there. So we'll talk about that. But let's talk specifically about, first of all, let's talk about the changes as it relates to the location of your garbage can and your recycling container.
Okay. Well, 2 of the things that we needed to address in order to make our operation more efficient was volume and location. We'll talk about volume in a little while. But in the past, we have picked up garbage pretty much anywhere a customer chose to put their garbage can, and we're going to have to put a little bit of restriction on that just to gain some efficiencies. And as the new ordinance is written, a customer is to either take their garbage to curbside to be collected, or to put it within 10 feet of their house and visible from the driveway.
So basically, when you walk up to someone's house to get their garbage, there is no question that's the garbage can and that's the garbage I'm supposed to collect.
Yes, that's correct. We don't need garbage hidden from the sanitation workers. The garbage cans need to be visible to them. Now, that doesn't mean that the garbage cans has to be visible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at that location, but they need to be in that location on the day of their scheduled pickup.
At 7 a.m.
By 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
That's right.
Okay, David, I just want to clarify that we are not going into people's garages or into their little houses behind their house, breezeways.
Trash cans need to be in a location where we can see them as we approach the house through the driveway that they use most of the time. We'll no longer be entering structures, breezeways, garages, that sort of thing to pick up trash. We will no longer be going inside of fenced areas. So the garbage can needs to be where the guys can see them when they pull up at the house.
Some people are fortunate enough to have those nice fenced-in areas that have been built just for maybe 2 garbage cans.
Right, and that's not a problem. Customers can continue to use those, and we'll collect trash from those areas made out of fencing or more of a hard structure if it's designed for the purpose of solid waste.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the preparation and storage of garbage.
Okay.
What does that sounds like something really big? What does that mean?
Okay, well, it essentially means 2 things. One, that garbage has to be put inside of a plastic bag in good condition so that the men can pick it up without the bag tearing open, spilling the garbage, that sort of thing. It also needs to be secured well at the top. The bags are to go inside of the garbage receptacle, and the garbage cans need to have a lid on them.
Okay, and in just a few moments we are going to demonstrate that. Dan and I are going to demonstrate how to tie up your bag and where you need to put it. We're gonna make it so simple because what I think is great about all this is it's going to make our community cleaner too.
It is.
In addition to being safer, we're going to be cleaner, and I think that's important.
And that was one of the concerns that was voiced at the public meetings. Several of the residents made comment that some garbage in their neighborhoods that they were aware of were not containerized as they should have been. Sometimes animals get into that, and we hope to address that as part of the changes that we're making as well.
So aesthetically, it's going to make a big difference. We've all driven by the house where there's like 6 bags on Monday morning. Most of the time it's bags, at least in the area that I've seen, where it's, and in some cases it's not. So we're going to clean that up. All right, let's talk about the amount of garbage. That's going to change.
Right. 2 of the biggest efficiency obstacles that we faced in the solid waste division is time that it takes at some houses to collect the garbage, and we hope to address that by putting some moderate restrictions on where those garbage containers can be picked up. The other thing is volume. I think typically the average city resident generates no more than about 96 gallons per week. But there are some addresses, however, that generate quite a bit more than that, and we do need to impose some moderate limits on the amount of garbage that any given household can throw away during a collection cycle.
Okay, so basically my garbage is picked up on Monday and Thursday.
Right.
So on Monday, when I put my garbage out there, what is the most garbage I can put out?
Okay, we will only collect 96 gallons of garbage at any one pickup.
That leads me right into my next area, which is recycling, and that's that's a big difference in all this.
Yeah, that may be perhaps the biggest logistical challenge that we have as a solid waste division, is that in the past our recycling has been done by a private contractor. We've ever since we've had recycling service, that service has been performed through a private contractor that the city's used. Well, beginning at the 1st of next year, we're going to bring that service in-house, and we'll be doing that recyclable collection ourselves.
Okay, now what will the customer see? What kind of change will the customer actually see?
The customers shouldn't realize very much of a change. The only change that they should see is that their day of collection may change, but that information will be given to them through the press, through hangers, through notes on the garbage can. So I would just urge all of our customers to pay attention to those notices that may be put on your garbage cans, and read them and really pay attention to them, so that you'll be aware of what the new schedule will be.
If you go outside and there's a big yellow or orange or lime green flyer in your door, read it, because there's some information. It's going to be in English on one side, Spanish on the other, so no excuses for not following the rules by January 1.
We need for everyone to read that, so that they'll understand what their collection day is and what we're going to be picking up.
How does the city benefit from taking on the recycling business?
Well, that decision was made purely on a financial level. Our recycling collection has been costing Gainesville somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000 a year, and we hope to realize significant savings by bringing that service in-house, shopping various disposal opportunities that we have, and hopefully realize a signicant savings there.
And it's my understanding that the details of some of that
we're
still being worked out.
Right, we're still working that out, but hopefully everything will be in place by January the 1st.
I know it will, and we're going to also